Apple, you should look at this right now. It is up 1%, but when Apple is up 1%, it has an outsized effect on all of the major indices. It is climbing higher right now after shareholders gave Tim Cook and Company a big thumbs up, a big approval rating during today's shareholder meeting at Apple's brand new headquarters after voting to approve all the board members. But is trouble still on the horizon? There are already discount deals for the iPhone X, but this just came out. The first buy one, get one free deal of the iPhone X has just arrived. AT&T is offering it. And worrying is this, does this mean for the future of iPhone sales? Let's bring in longtime Apple analyst Dan Ives of GBH Insights. He's been covering Apple since before the first iPhone was even invented, Dan.
Yep.
2 for 1. That looks like a bargain bin situation on the iPhone X. Am I misinterpreting that?
Yeah, I think right now, I mean, if you look at iPhone X, ASPs have been $800, and I think you have seen demand soften here, which is why you're going to start to see sort of this promotional activity. What you have to remember is that there's 3 new iPhones that will come out between now and September. So this is part of a typical cycle that we've seen for Apple. Net, if you look, they'll have 240 million iPhones sold this year, which will be the biggest year they've ever had for iPhone. So that's why it's a forest through the trees situation. Definitely some hand-holding going on at the shareholder meeting as well as with investors, as you have seen demand soften, and it's a more maturation of the smartphone cycle.
Now, you're not there because it's not analyst day, it's investor day, it's shareholder day. Shareholders maybe are giving him such a high approval because of a special dividend. Now, I can remember when Apple gave no dividend year after year, even though it went from sort of a growth company to a basic, giant, and they had to have their arms twisted to give a dividend. What do you make of the special dividend discussion?
Well, look, I think part of it is that you have $200 billion plus repatriated cash. We think it's going to be in the April timeframe with earnings. You'll have about a $300 billion buyback announced, a dividend increase that could be up to 20%. The special dividend, Cook's not a big fan there, and that's why it's going to be a big question in terms of will there be a $15 billion special dividend, or does that get thrown in the buyback? Am
I wrong? Wasn't it Carl Icahn who had to smack him around to wrestle some money out of the fists of Apple to make that dividend happen?
You're talking about a company that's going to generate $100 billion over the next 2 years. So part of it is that they have so much cash, especially the amount that's been repatriated. Now it's about, do they actually do M&A? We know buybacks, we know dividends.
Yeah. Do they buy companies?
Do they buy companies? If you look at content in the living room, if there's a time for them to do it, it's this year, and I think that's what a lot of investors are focused on.
But you like it?
Yeah, we continue to view this as a $180 to $200 stock. This near-term turbulence is a buying opportunity 12 times. And, these are the times right now that you own a name like Apple.
Well, stock is 164. That's a decent amount of upside you're calling for. Great to see you, Dan.
Yeah, great to be here.